Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
I was just being silenced, and it's just the censorship really
it's
is
so homophobic.
Yeah.
They really don't want us to have a 400th episode.
And honestly, they're right. We shouldn't be still doing this.
They're right. They're correct.
They are correct. You can't knock them, you know?
Anyways, welcome into the Twilight.
Ayo.
It is episode 400. My bones hurt so much from being a prophet.
Mm-hmm.
But we are here, nonetheless. We persist. How are you?
I'm here. I feel recharged. Right, I got a new lease on life. You know what I mean? I had some wonderful healing French onion soup.
Oh my god. Okay.
Which is just an eternal happy thing for me. This is not my actual happy thing, but I just got to give a shout out where it's due.
Yeah.
Because I do have a rule in life. I have very few of those, but I do have one rule. That is, if I see French onion soup on the menu, I am getting it.
Bread bowl?
It was no bread bowl. It was just like a regular bowl. But regardless, any way, shape, or form, if it's on the menu, I'm getting it. Because I will never regret it. And it's always been true. It's always been true. So just a quick shout out to the concept of French onion soup.
Right. No, of course, obviously. If you think about like what our happy things are, it's just always on the list.
Yeah, that's always just like in the background. You know, if I can't pull one, it's that. Just that's just always, I'm always thinking about it. So I chose an image here that kind of is expressing something, because I do have, the Sabbath thing is kind of a confession. It's kind of a deep shame.
I'm so fucking scared.
Because it's Bugs Bunny with the gun that says, "Lord, forgive me, but it's time to go back to the old me," which is one of my favorite pictures in the world. Excuse me. Pardon my French. Because I have regressed. That is my happy thing, and that I've been watching Ink Master. I've been watching Ink Master. I'm sorry.
I could have put 5 things in an envelope, and none of them were Ink Masters, because I didn't think it was going to be that low. I didn't think I was going to have to call a fucking wellness check.
Yeah. Listen.
I didn't know this was your fucking Grey's Anatomy.
This is my dark shame, okay? I'm sorry. Listen.
That's the equivalent of you saying, "Oh, I'm back into watching Love After Lockup."
This is a 51-50. I'm sorry. Okay, I know this. I know
crying.
this. But hear me out.
All right, go on.
It's objectively a bad show. I know this. We know this. It's a bad show.
Yeah.
It's been bad for years, forever, ever since it started. But now it's like locked behind like Paramount Plus or whatever.
Yeah.
And they've gotten rid of all of the like predators and sex offenders and misogynists, at least on the judging table, right? It's still bad. It's still like, you know.
Like they cut the episodes like with 30 Rock, or they just put like a blurring over their face?
No, I'm watching a new season that is currently airing of Ink Master. I am keeping up live with Ink Master. This is what's happening. Because I have a profound fondness, because I have an association with this show of like, hell yeah, like alternative people are so cool, right?
Yeah.
And that was very influential for me as a young person.
Cody, I didn't know that you were the fucking moderator on r/Ink Masters.
Yeah, I am the head moderator, absolutely. But obviously, I really soured on it because, again, sexual predators, misogynists, and criminals were all over the show.
Right.
And now, they're still like douchebags, but it feels less like I'm actively being assaulted through the screen by horrible people that I have to look at. It's just, but there's something so appealing about this show in a way that is so, like, reflective of just humanity at large in Americana. Of, like, the skull pics are always the fucking best things I've ever seen in my life. Because you get this, like, 42-year-old woman who's like, I want a corgi on my sternum that's fully 3D and, you know, lights up. And it's like, what? Like, the most insane shit you've ever heard in your life. And they're like, bet. Okay, let's try to make it work. And oftentimes they don't. But when they do, you're like, that was impressive. And there's just something so fulfilling about that is just very funny. And also these people are quite talented, so it is like nice to watch like artists do like stuff that they're good at, but the culture around it is so dog shit.
100%.
But this is my truth. This is what's happening to me in my brain. I am actively currently watching new episodes of Ink Master.
The fact that it's the new shit is killing me right now.
Yeah. I resubscribed to Paramount Plus for this. This is for the record. Because I canceled it because Drag Race was done and I had nothing else use for it. And then I was like seeing TikToks of this new season. I'm like, damn, I do kind of miss Ink Master. And so I resubscribed. Listen, I'm being very vulnerable right now in this
No,
phase.
and there's no judgment. I've said a lot of whack shit in here.
This is my truth. I have to be honest.
Real talk got into my head. I didn't know that they were still making Ink Masters.
I know. I was like, damn, they're still doing this? Okay.
I didn't know that that's how Hollywood... Like, I knew that we were still leaning on a lot of reality TV shows because of how Hollywood was. I didn't know that they had pulled back into Ink Masters, though.
Yeah, it's like, we gotta dust off the
I didn't know
shit.
that's where we got.
Yeah.
Damn.
So thank you for letting me speak my truth. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm also back on my shit.
Hell yeah.
I'm not watching Grace again, though.
Yeah.
I am not. No one needs to worry about me. I'm back on my shit in the sense that I watched a show about Greek mythology. All right?
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah, we're so back.
I watched the show Chaos on Netflix, and I need to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because this fucking show is so important to me. And I can't believe, I mean, I can because it's Netflix, but I can't believe that they canceled it. Because why did I start watching this? I went to look up the cast, and then all I could see on the news tab of Google was that it got canceled. What?
Yep. They didn't even give it a second to cook.
They didn't give it a goddamn breathe, like a moment to breathe.
Yeah. Like, I too, I have not watched this, but I've heard amazing things about it.
Oh my god.
And it has everything I love in it. And it seems like exciting and new and different and fun. And like less than 4 weeks, basically. I know Netflix is one to cancel a show quite quickly. We have experienced this on this show of things that we were watching. And so that's not surprising to me, but that is the quickness of this particular one was astounding because it's truly one of those shows that's like, okay, first season out the gate, like it's trying something. Let's see if it like has an audience like over time. Like this is one of those things that feels like would have like kind of a cult following over once it's discovered, right? But there's like no chance for it to be discovered if you already pull the plug before people even have the opportunity to watch it and get into it. And it's like, what are we doing? What?
It infuriates me to no end. Am I surprised? No. Am I still mad and disappointed about it? Yes, obviously.
Yeah.
So I do need you to watch this for a couple of reasons. One, everyone that was cast in it is so hot. It's actually annoying.
Yeah.
Which it's appropriate because it is it's about Greek mythology. So appropriate.
Yeah.
I will say that I'm not a Jeff Goldblum fan per se. You know, the last couple of years of the news have kind of soured me on this man.
Yeah, for sure.
However, what I will say is that he was not originally cast as Zeus for this role. Someone else was. My personal feelings about him make him personally perfect for Zeus. So I was not soured from watching this because I think that he does a really good job being Zeus, if y'all know anything about motherfucking Zeus.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that it was not difficult for me to watch this. There was someone in here, the only other person that I knew in this cast was Billy Piper. Everyone else, for the most part, I did not know. Someone that I found distractingly hot plays Poseidon. And when you see him, it's going to be like, oh my God. But again, everyone is so hot. It is, for the most part, like pretty historically accurate to the mythology, which I appreciated. The other person that I knew is the guy that plays Lupin in Harry Potter.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Anyways, it's a really good cast. I loved it. Oh, and then I can't believe that I forgot this. Motherfucking Eddie Izzard.
Oh, wow. Yes. Okay, yeah. So the greatest cast of all time.
No, I'm telling you, the cast is so like galaxy brain perfect. It means everything to me. So I need you to watch it. It's really good. It's like 8 episodes. And as soon as I finished it, I was like, I need more. It doesn't end on a cliffhanger. Because again, it's mythology. So like it makes sense that it ends in a natural conclusion, but I wanted there to be another series so that they could do more mythology in it. Everyone's hot. It's perfect. I enjoyed it a lot. I will say, for folks that are any semblance aware of mythology, it gets gory. Because I don't know that there's a way to watch anything about Greek mythology without there being like blood and murder and stuff like that. So just they don't have any semblance of like content warnings, but I would look that up just so that you're aware. But I think it's hard to do anything with Greek mythology without there being like death. You know what I mean? But they definitely put their Netflix budget in it. I will say that for sure. I loved it. It was perfect. And I need y'all to watch it because I don't have any more of it and it hurts me.
Yeah.
And that frustrates me. But I can't believe that they gave it like a second and then they were like, no, actually, goodbye. But their interpretations of the mythology made me, I laughed and I cried and then I cried some more, but in good ways. So thank you, Chaos. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
You're great. We have news, which is nice.
Darn right we do.
Starting with, thank you for bringing this profile about Rob from the New York Times. Could you share this with the class?
Absolutely. We got a big stankin' profile of Robert Pattinson from the New York Times Style magazine and reported by Nick Haramis. Thank you, Nick, for your service. And some gorgeous photos. And the title is aptly, Is Robert Pattinson the Last True Movie Star?
Amen.
Which, thank God. And this is, I love this piece because it's very, I feel like we don't often get Robert truly like talking about process a lot of times. And like reflection, because we all know Robert is like, he's gonna lie in interviews. There was a very vast period of time where he's just like, I'm just gonna say shit, right? And now it just feels like he's much more thinking technically about things, and I think it's very interesting. And there's still, like, humor and goofiness throughout this. Like, they mention the cursed pasta. I love that. He's doing pottery. He has a lot of little, like, machinations in his mind of just wild thoughts of being like, you know, here's my opinions about pants, you know? It's like, what? Okay. I'm really into furniture. You know, like, there's a lot of those idiosyncrasies in there that are cute, but there's a lot of this that is like, clearly this was timed for Mickey 17, and the fact that it got delayed is a little ironic, but there is a lot of stuff about that, but especially about him talking about the Batman and, like, other parts of his career post Twilight, which I genuinely appreciate.
It is knowing that part of this profile, which it looks like started in August, some of this interview, and Homeboy was just doing pottery and like making phallic jokes during it, which is just
like, that's my boy. That's my boy.
That's Rob. And I think there are a lot of other people in Hollywood where that could come off gross and inappropriate. And I am glad that for Rob it doesn't, because he's just a weirdo. But I think that it is both a testament to this journalist, to the rapport that they were able to build, and also to how Robert holds himself in the media, that he is able to just be a weirdo and not come across as inappropriate. It's just like, oh, I'm making this thing for a friend, and it's a carrot, but, like, it's actually really phallic here. And that's just Rob not coming across like a predator, which quite a few men in Hollywood, that would be what it actually is.
Sure. Yeah.
It's so... I am grateful to have this, even though Mickey 17 was delayed, because we do get a lot of information about him. I'm grateful when these pieces come out. I'm also, as I get older, grateful that they don't come out more. Yeah. I think that if this, you know, having been a fan of his since 2005, which is almost 20 years, I think that, you know, 20 years ago, I would have wanted these every day in my like magazines, like J14 or whatever. Now, I'm immensely grateful that he doesn't have social media, that we only get these when him and Suki want to be seen. Yeah. And I just am very appreciative of that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And there's a couple of moments in here that are interesting. And the fact that, like, you're right, of this being more of, like, it feels a lot more exhaustive, right? Like, the fact that we didn't get, like, a bunch of these, like, for every movie he's been in the last couple of years is great. Because now he's, like, kind of reflecting on certain things. Like, even talking about the Batman, there's a cute moment where it says, like, he still has, like, his childhood Batman costume, like, from Halloween, which is very cute. But, like, he said that he kind of, like, made the choice for him to most always be, like, behind the mask and in the suit rather than, like, kind of have this dual thing. And he says, like, he's been portrayed until now as a playboy, but what if he's completely socially inept and kind of agoraphobic? And it's like, yeah, like, for sure, like, absolutely. And that's, like, such a interesting part of this. There's also this fun moment where he says that for New Year's, him and Suki went to the Caribbean on a trip, and, like, the passport, like, guy, immigration officer was like, hey, you're that Twilight guy, like, why did you stop acting? And Robert was like, I'm Batman? Question mark. Which is the most Robert experience, I think, to have. I am deeply obsessed with that.
There's also bits in this too that, like, I've never heard of, where, you know, we find out that when he was still in school, he used to steal shit. Like, he stole porn magazines and chocolate bars, and that when he was still in LA, where we know that he's had that apartment with a bunch of the Hollywood guys, that he auditioned for Troy,
Oh,
He
my
auditioned
God.
for Tokyo Drift.
Imagine.
He arrived late with a busted lip, which he says was from kissing and not fighting, to audition for Aragon.
Yeah.
And it's like, you have lived so many lives, Robert, that you just say this shit and you keep going. And I fear for journalists to be like, wait. Hold on. What? You had a busted lip?
Yeah.
Sir? What are you talking about? I will also say, not only is this piece beautifully done, I love getting able to read this, but I will also say thank you to the stylist for these photos and the photographer, because holy shit, he looks great.
Yeah.
I need to this leather moment, it means a lot to me personally.
Yeah. I've never been more like wanting to buy a physical magazine in my life than that pic. Oh my God.
I know that it's not, I mean, I choose to believe that it is not Robert in his day-to-day life to be in like a sweater that's $1,000 and pants that are $900, but he looks great.
Yeah.
He looks great in them.
Yeah.
So thank you to our stylists here.
Yeah. Incredible
Amazing.
work.
Incredible work, New York Times. I appreciate you very much. Side note to this also, I saw this. This is courtesy of the Twitter account Suki Waterhouse Archive. That Rob revealed that when Suki was opening for Taylor Swift at Wembley, he watched her on a live stream on his phone.
Oh my God.
He was
He's just
on
like
his
us
way.
for real.
He's just like everyone else. Yeah, apparently he was required for a role, specifically to head to a morning dance class. And I just want to know which live stream you were watching, bud.
Yeah, it's like, were we all in the comments together?
Yeah, because there's been speculation that Taylor Nation, when they went live once, they've been doing, private lives for family and friends who couldn't make it. But now I just believe that he does have a TikTok like all of us.
Yeah. He's got
And
it.
that he's gotta. That it just is very important to me. Last piece of news is that we have some nominations here for the Critics' Choice Awards.
Yes.
And I don't know that all of the news for award season will be something that we'll talk about unless we do get invited to the Oscars, which, hello. But specifically, some hubbub here for Interview with the Vampire.
Mm-hmm.
They've been nominated a couple times here. Best Drama Series, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Best Supporting Actor, cool. And there's another one here for Industry. Or no, it's just those two, Best Drama Series and Best Supporting Actor. Here's my question. One, I think they need more. Here's my question, though. Why is Best Supporting Actor Sam Reed?
Yeah.
Because I love Sam Reed as much as any other person.
Mm-hmm.
But
he was not the best supporting actor in that season. Apologies. Like, he kind of got cleared a little bit, but it's not. Like, let's be real.
He's not. If we count the most important moments, the best TM, it's not Sam. Not for season 2.
Yeah. It makes no sense to me, and especially looking at this lead actor category, or best actor, like, in no universe does Jacob Anderson not clear the majority of these people.
100%.
Outside of, like, Shogun, you know? Like, Like, it just makes no sense.
I
Like,
don't
Eddie
understand.
Redmayne for a Peacock show? Like, what are we what are we doing? Hello?
Let's be so real right now.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Why would you have the audacity to nominate Interview with the Vampire and not put the best actor on here? I don't get it. It feels disrespectful to me.
Ugh.
It pisses me off.
Yeah.
And also, like, The Boys.
Yeah. Still, we're doing this.
And this is coming from someone who has an unfortunate soul tie to Eric. Like,
Sure.
I have a fucking tattoo with one of his shows. Like, don't even fucking start with me. Like,
Yeah.
But we could take Eddie off here. We could take Anthony off here.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Come on now. Be so serious. So serious.
I can't get a Peacock show off here. It pisses me off. I'm so annoyed.
Truly coughing baby versus hydrogen bomb. Like, are you serious?
I'm so fucking pissed off. I love Sam Reed, but like this was not his season to be nominated, and I don't understand. It feels racist to me, and I don't get it, and I'm confused. When obviously next season's gonna be...
Yeah, like, he's gonna have his moment, you guys. Like, just come on.
I'm confused, okay? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know about you, but I was really grateful for the previously on of this week's Vampire Diaries episode.
Yes. There's a lot going on.
Because I needed a recap. I was grateful for it because I forgot how much I liked last week's episode of 1912, but I needed a refresher, personally.
Yeah. There's a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
There's so many cooks. How did this episode do you? Break on through.
Oh, we are breaking on through. Absolutely. I am interested in a lot of where these plot lines are going, particularly the Sage of it all.
Yeah.
Because that is very interesting to me.
I agree.
And this whole sort of like Damon, Rebecca, Sage thing. There was many moments where I was like, are they all just gonna fuck each other? You know, like, are they all just
Is this gonna turn into an HBO show?
Is this, yeah, like, what's the tea? And it's particularly the relationship between Rebecca and Sage is
Which is
fascinating.
not getting enough time.
Yeah, we need that to, like, really simmer here. Okay, like, let's heat that up a little bit more, because there's so much, like, behind, like, in waiting in the wings, like, kind of like animosity that is delicious, and I would like to see it. Show it to me, Rachel. I would like to see it.
I thought that was the whole point. This episode was for that to get its like proper explanation, and then it just didn't.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're just mad because I was obsessed with your brother, and it's like, there's clearly more to this. Like, there's clearly something else going on here. But like, also the fact that we discover that Sage is able to like give people like memories and information and secrets through kissing is really good. It's so
I love it.
Like, this is what vampire shit is all about. You know what I mean? Like, this, we should be leaning into more of this kind of stuff. Like, if you're gonna be the horny vampire show, give me horny passing of knowledge and information through horniness.
I agree.
Make it make sense.
And just like we talked about last week for our listeners, not last week for us, obviously. What is the distribution of these powers?
Yeah, right.
Why is it that when she makes contact with people, whether it's touching them with her hands or touching them with her lips, she is able to access their memories? And Damon's able to turn into a fucking crow.
Yep. Yeah.
But but not everyone gets that. Is it genes? Is it, what is it? Is it hotness? What is the determining factor here? Are we ever going to find out?
Does everyone just get one silly little power that only they have? And it's like this is your, like, you know, you've been sorted into this, like, you're crow guy, like you're a vampire, but you also can be crow if you want, or you're a vampire but you also can do this. And it's like, do they all just get one? Like, what is the
yeah, is it that everyone has one and we don't know it, or is it that only a select few have it? Because we didn't find out until this episode that apparently, which, like, obviously we know this from witch lore, but we didn't know in this world that witches have a connection to the earth and can make plants.
Yeah.
But Bonnie was like, oh, duh, audience.
Yeah.
We can make plants come alive. And it's like, girl, what?
Okay.
You know,
sure.
like, that is a lore about witches in other worlds.
Yes.
But we didn't know that in this one.
Yeah. You're like, I've been doing this the whole time, for sure. I knew about this.
You have?
Yeah.
Bonnie? What?
I'm confused. Hello.
Bonnie, you could have a florist shop here. Go get a greenhouse.
Yeah. Get away from all these people and just make a beautiful greenhouse and sell your wares and just be rid of this.
God.
I feel like, too, this is a show that is constantly, you can tell the writer's room remembers that certain lore exists, and they just kind of retcon into the thing and being like, oh, we all knew about, you know, Damon being a crow. We all knew about this. We all knew about Bonnie being able to make plants come alive. It's like, okay, don't gaslight me. Like, I just know you're remembering that's actual lore, and you're just shoehorning it in as if this has been lore here, when it hasn't been.
Yeah, like, they made up an extra bridge in the town this week.
Yeah, a whole new bridge.
We only knew about the bridge that Elena's parents died on. I thought there was one bridge in Mystic Falls. What the fuck?
Where did this other bridge come from? Show me a map of Mystic Falls. Are you just adding new things?
Where'd the extra study in the Salvatore house come from this episode? That Damon walked around in a towel.
Oh my god, yeah, that was... I feel like every time we see the house, it's like a totally different house. It's like, where is this room from? What do you mean?
Show me these fucking floor plans, please.
Like, the whole, like, bookcase stuff of, like, all the archive shit. I was like, where from last week? And then this week, it's like, here's this other room that I'm just gonna be sloppily wet in. Post-sexual shower. And go in, it's like, where are these rooms coming from? What does this floor plan look like? This house makes no sense to me. We're just adding shit.
That part made me want to rip my skin off, because obviously he looked hot. Like, don't get me wrong, Ian was on one this episode.
Yeah.
He was so hot this episode.
Yeah.
But this house, which we know historically has been broken into so many times. People have access to this house so much. Mm-hmm. No one has asked Bonnie to put wards on this house. Damon walks into this study dripping wet. We see his chest, he's wet. This room has historical archives in it. You need to have this in a fucking Vatican, airlocked. Mm-hmm. These need to be in a dehumidified room. And he's like, no, I'm gonna touch them with my wet hands.
My full wet body.
It just
didn't even try to dry off. His hair is still soaking wet. Like, it is dripping on the floor. You know what I mean?
Touching
like,
it with baby oil fingers.
Yeah.
He's still got jelly on him from a PB&J. Like, this motherfucker is gonna kill me.
Yeah. God.
If these are so important to the town, why do you let anyone fucking come into this house? All the time. I hate them. I'm so pissed off. But yeah, apparently, you know, we needed to know what this week's town project was.
Yeah.
And they're building they're not building it, but I don't know what they were doing to that bridge.
They're saving the bridge?
Yeah. The bridge got tired, and they're saving it.
And I just love to, because Rick is on one, obviously. He doesn't know who he is.
On one.
He doesn't know who he is, where he is, what's going on. And you know, God bless his heart. And he's like, I can totally be normal and go to a town event. I'm totally in control and fine. And immediately gets accosted and it's like, hey, did you remember to bring that sign to save the bridge? And he's like, fucking, I've been, like, the desperation in his voice to be like, so quickly being like, I don't want to be here anymore is so important. Because he's immediately like, oh shit, sorry, I forgot about that. I've been, busy. Like, you could tell he just wants to bury himself in the ground. He's like, if anyone asks me a question or to do anything, I will kill myself in front of all of you. I can't do this anymore.
I'm gonna make you put me in this bridge. I swear to God.
Like, I'm gonna change the trajectory of all of your lives for the rest of time by causing a mass disturbance in public. So do not ask anything of me right now.
If you speak to me one more time, I'm gonna cause a canon event. I swear.
This is gonna be sealed into your brain and memory. Don't ask me a question.
I wasn't expecting this. I love this arc for Rick.
Yes, me too.
And I think part of it is because the actor is so good at being bad. Matthew Davis, and we saw this a bit when he was Klaus.
Yeah.
I love when he's on one and he's not being like tortured poet, alcoholic. I'm obsessed with it. And that's he's got that like Paul, he's really good when he's bad kind of thing. But when he like flipped and started going after Meredith, I was like, oh my God, I could watch this.
Yeah. Similar to, how like we were talking about Paul, of like him really being able to lock in and like be really good at being bad. Like, I think Rick is also kind of in that thing, because like he's fine as like just being the guy who's here, you know, but like and having some emotional depth or whatever. But his like switch was so scary, of him just like grabbing the knife and being like, do you ever feel remorse? It's like, oh my god. Hello. It's like, where did you come from, sir? Because this is heat. This is awesome. I mean, it's scary, but like, Jesus Christ, rent is due, and you are absolutely crushing it.
Which is such a line to start with. To have them go from Elena and Stefan finding the kill list of the founders, which we knew. We had been seeing over the last, season or so of the founders getting got. Yeah. But to see that locked drawer of his trophies, which is is not great. And then Meredith, this character pisses me off. I was like, she loves to fix one. And I'm over this. But she did have a funny moment of being like, oh yeah, mustard. But that line when he said that about remorse sent a chill down my spine. And I was like, God. I'm so in this right now. And it was obviously like very scary, and like I don't like this for Rick. I'm very interested in how this actor is portraying it. But when Rick was trying to pretend everything was fine, when Elena and Stefan came in, and he was like trying to make everything okay, and then he saw that the knife was still in view, and he was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna kill this girl. I was like, oh no. It was such a 180 from what we had just seen of Rick, of him handing that yellow legal pad with his fucking bank accounts and passwords. Yeah, he's like, here's, like, if anything happens, like, here's all my information, steal my identity, make sure I'm good. It's like, and then it was like, okay, all right, that's a turn. What I wasn't expecting, I don't know how long they could have dragged this on. I just wasn't expecting it to be done this episode. Yeah. I know that it would have gotten boring, but I was like, this actor can do interesting stuff. And to have it just be fixed at the end of this episode I was kind of bummed with.
Yeah.
So, I mean, unfortunate.
Yeah.
But oh well. I guess I'd rather it pause while it's interesting than drag on to the point where I'm bored.
That's true. Yeah, that's fair.
So that's unfortunate. I would love to know. Oh, another thing about Rick while we're still on him. There was a moment earlier on in the episode when they were doing the imaging of him with the mirror.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I don't remember. I think they were trying to mimic an MRI. I don't remember those having mirrors in them, but whatever. Where they were like showing his reflection having a different image that I thought was super cool. I would love to know your opinion on Nina and Ian this episode.
Oh, God.
Because their chemistry, I feel like I wrote down notes about several times.
Yeah, like, you can dangle the Rebecca and Sage stuff in front of me all you want, but what's going on between these two is impossible to deny.
And both are true.
Yes, both are true. Listen, it's as we said many, many times before, Ian Somerhalder has chemistry with every living person he is breathing on in a scene.
And he showed it too. Every person this episode, he was like hard eyes at.
Yeah. And there's just the whole, especially the beginning scene of like them talking about Stefan and Damon being like, listen, Stefan has built himself like a wagon of delusion that he keeps repeatedly falling off of. And I'm just trying to give him some helpful tips in moderation. And Elena aptly is like, brother, you are not the person I would go to for tips about moderation. That's kind of not your bag. That's not your whole thing. And there's just so much... They're so spicy in here.
I love when they argue.
Yeah, when they fight. And even too, like, with Damon and Rebecca, right? Of her being like, I don't like mean. And he's like, really? Really, bitch? Like, you're kind of the meanest person ever. And also, you're obsessed with me. Even though, like, I'm definitely more obsessed with you than you are of me. However, good lay. And you do like mean. It's like, he just loves... It's so... Yeah, he's just so good at fighting with beautiful women in a way that they love. That is really hard to deny.
And to have this episode be him having to pretend, again, big quotes, pretend to seduce Rebecca.
Right.
For Sage's whole plot.
Yeah.
Is just fodder for the audience. And I love it. Thank you for this gift.
Ah.
It means important. It's so it means everything to me to be like, oh yeah, Sage, the hot teacher, who's definitely not going to screw Damon over. Let's bring in Rebecca and definitely see how this works out. I think Damon even calls it at one point like a Sage Rebecca sex sandwich.
That's wild. Yeah.
And that is, I mean, it was that kind of is what happens.
Yeah, it's not incorrect.
There was also that poor piano player that was there.
Oh my God. Yeah. Just trying to, bring the party, Right. Just trying to really just chill and couldn't last a second. God damn.
No. It was being distracted from the compulsion of playing the piano because he kept getting bit, which is unfortunate. Yeah. But Sage on the couch watching Rebecca and Damon go at it, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
The levels of voyeurism here are fascinating.
It is. There's a lot happening here. But I think it also goes to show, and we've talked about this a lot with the Salvatores, that Damon was so one-minded, like one-track minded in this, that he was like, oh, this is all about seducing Rebecca, that we're in on this for Rebecca, that he wasn't thinking that Sage is also going to use me having my guard down.
Yeah, right. Like I surely I won't get played. Like,
my God.
Yeah, like, dude.
She has you also naked in the shower right now.
Right. Yeah. Like, who's pulling what strings here? Let's be for real.
Never has his spidey senses turned on. Ever.
He just gets digmatized, you know, and he's just like,
Always.
This is great, and this will not backfire me at all, and it's not my greatest weakness of all time. Surely not.
No. No, and he was just, I loved at the end that he was like, oh yeah, no, it was my plan all along that the sign Rick was supposed to bring had the wood in it too. And I was definitely just playing at the bridge that I was super mad. And it's like, sir, you just got really lucky.
Yeah.
That was not the plan all along.
You are not the mastermind. You are portraying yourself to be my guy.
Stefan didn't even believe you in this. Come on now.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised that I tolerated Stefan this episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because especially after last episode, I was like, ugh, anytime that he interacts with Elena this episode, I'm going to be pissed off.
Yeah. So I'll spray him with a water bottle.
I mean, I was worried at first when he was like shoulder deep in the blood bag freezer, that I was like, God damn it, dude. Have we learned nothing?
Yeah.
But he was able to have control with Meredith, which I was proud of. So small wins.
Yeah.
We'll take them. And he's able to just like talk with Elena, and Elena wants to talk with him, which is good. So, again, wins. There was something in the apartment that I was curious about. Oh, how did you feel about the note that Rick wrote for Jeremy?
Oh, yeah. I feel like they're definitely trying to tease that back in a little bit, because we also get Elena having that phone call that we don't like hear really on the other side, but being like, hey, love you. Not gonna tell you that Rick is a little off his rocker right now, but miss you, come back. Hope you're doing good. So they are kind of like planting the seed a little bit.
Once I saw that, I immediately started worrying, because Jeremy has also died a couple times.
Yeah.
And from what Bonnie had said, right, of like, oh, it's not attached to the ring, like it's not a cursed object, it's your psyche that starts to get fucked with.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh no. And then to have that at the end, which was so sad, because it's this huge house and Elena's alone.
Yeah.
And so, of course, she calls Jeremy. And I haven't heard his voice in a while, so I got really sad.
Ugh, I missed it.
I missed him so much. And he seems to be fine. He seems to be really adjusted. He got a goddamn dog.
Yeah.
And she's so upset, but trying to act like she's fine. And doesn't tell him anything. But I agree. I feel like they're teasing that. And I feel like Jeremy could do dark. I feel like I feel like he could, and I would be very excited to see it, but I'd be nervous.
Yeah, that's my sweet baby boy.
That's my...
Because that's like the fucked up thing too, of like, you're right, like it's that reveal that it is not the ring itself that is the big bad here. It is the fact that Rick has died so many times.
Yeah.
And, I mean, obviously there are connections, but it's still, like, there's a whole other brain thing going on here that, like, Jeremy could also qualify for. That's like, no, no, not my sweet son.
It makes me glad, right, that he's in Denver, but also...
Yeah.
oh no. If he breaks bad in Denver, there's no one there to help him.
Yeah.
In the way that Bonnie was able to this episode.
God, Bonnie.
The way that the writers did Bonnie and Caroline this episode made me so mad. And I'm so done with them being used this way.
Yeah.
And I just want them to be able to go on a girls' trip.
Yeah, God.
And just say, like, fuck it, I'm not helping anyone.
These girls need to be by the beach, sipping on marks, and just vibing, right? Reading by the pool, you know? God damn. Yeah. Like,
I want them to go to Miami and just say, fuck it, y'all deal with this for a while.
It's just, and it's so, like, it's obviously quite sad, and it's especially sad knowing that Caroline also has this abandonment relationship with the people that were supposed to love her.
Yes.
And I was quite proud of her being like, fuck it. Like, I'm going to tell this bitch off, right?
Yes.
Bonnie, the whole time, is like, hey, we're going to help you figure this out. It's going to be okay. Like, you haven't been my mom, but now you're here. And, like, we're going to make this work. And you don't have to be afraid, and we can do it together. And the only way you would truly, truly hurt me is if you left. With a big unspoken again, you know? Like in there, like permeating through the air. And what does she do? But do the whole dramatic, like, writing a letter. It's so hard. You're better off without me. Yada, yada, yada. It's easier to leave, which, duh, right? And Caroline coming in there and being like, you motherfucker. Like, this is literally the one and only thing. Like, she has forgiven you for so much shit.
Yeah.
And you're scared. But we're all fucking scared. Like, fuck you. Who gives you the right to, like, say who's better off without their parent in any capacity? Even if it's a bad parent. Even if it's a parent that does not deserve the relationship that she's now having. Like, fucking what is wrong with you? And just for her to be like, and another thing. Like, just like, you're a coward, you suck, and you're gonna leave anyway, so I'm just gonna tell you off right now. Like, there's nothing I can do to convince you because you've already made up your goddamn mind, and that's shitty and shady, and you're full of shit. Sorry. Mic drop. Fuck you. It's like, go off.
It hurts so bad because this whole episode, Caroline is there. She's doing something that Caroline has become really good at since changing, which is helping others through that first transition.
Yep.
Of not just vampires, but other, like, any other supernatural being. She's become really good at being that guide for them.
And, like, brings, like, such a fun lightness, too, as being like, I got all the types of blood. Like, my favorites be positive. But, like, here's this whole little buffet for you. This is gonna be easy breezy. Like, we can do this together. And it's like, ugh, love her.
And it is not only that lightness and that humor, but it, as you said, right? Like, this is also important to her beyond just being Bonnie's mom, but because the fact that she is someone who has also experienced abandonment like Bonnie. So she has a stake in this, whether or not she wants to say that out loud.
Yeah.
And it sucks so bad that right now, when this is happening, Bonnie has left to go do yet another thing for Elena. It's for Rick, but it's something that Elena asked of.
Yeah.
To go and heal Rick, which we don't see on camera, but seems to have worked. And in this moment, we see Elena breaking down, and Bonnie is having to comfort her for Abby changing. Yeah. And I understand on paper that, like, these two friends are grieving a really shitty situation that Elena didn't have control over. But what I'm seeing as a viewer is a white woman having emotions over a grief and a loss that Bonnie had to experience as a black woman. Yep. And now Bonnie is having to comfort her about it.
Yep.
And it's like, again?
Come on now. Enough.
All that we've seen in this show is that Bonnie is the one who deals with this pain and then is brought in because she is the only one that can fix this stuff. And now Elena's having an emotion, and I get it. It's Elena's show. Like, I get it. But what I'm seeing is that Bonnie's having to be the emotional person to comfort her right now.
Yep.
And right now, on the other side, I think it's in another state right now, her mom is writing a goodbye note to her because she thinks that's what's best.
Yeah.
If I see one of these fucking writers, I swear to God, like, and I'm so grateful for Caroline in this moment to have actually said something because Abby's dealing with some fucking shit. It's bad that she doesn't want to do this. She didn't choose it. She's dealing with the grief of not having her connections of being a witch anymore.
Yeah.
That she doesn't want to drink blood. And then as soon as she got to see Jamie again, she did the last thing that she wanted and the one thing that Jamie was afraid of. That's a lot of shit. Changing's hard.
Yeah.
But it's not easier to leave your daughter again when she's trying to be there for you. It pisses me off. It pisses me off that she left still after all of that.
Oh, yeah.
And that Bonnie thinks she's going back to go see her. Is it moving the story along? Sure. Am I okay with it? No.
Yeah.
Every day I want Bonnie to become the big bad. I want her to set fire to this whole town. Kill them all. She deserves it. And then go get a greenhouse and start a floral shop somewhere, Bonnie.
Yep.
Or not. Or not. It's totally up to you. It bums me out. And I agree with you. I still don't know what this, like, whole plan is. Because, like, they now have the white oak for the originals. But also Sage thinks that she's going to get Finn back. But Finn wants his mom.
Yeah.
So... And also Finn wants to die. So, like...
Yeah.
And in that order, those are Finn's priorities.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. That's what I'm worried about. But somehow, next week, so episode 18 is titled The Murder of One. And somehow we end up again with Rebecca and Damon. But this time Damon is chained up. Complimentary.
Well, yeah, it's a little...
I think it's supposed to be punishment, but it does kind of look a little sexy.
I mean, look at his face. He is enjoying this.
I think he's...
Come on now.
I think Rebecca is supposed to be doing it in like a I'm pissed off at you and you're trying to kill my family way. But I think I don't think he's mad about being there.
Yeah.
Per se. So, who's to say? You know?
Who's to say?
Who's to say? We have some amazing patrons to thank. Would you like to start us off?
Absolutely. Thank you and welcome our newest patron to the scene, April Dobrev. Pew, pew, pew.
Thank you to our next, and also still a fairly new patron, Kristen Stewart.
Pew, pew, pew. Thank you to Callista Lockwood.
Ooh, thank you to Sean Salvatore.
Ow. Thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Ooh, thank you to Katya Karp.
Ooh. Thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Ooh, thank you to Danielle Burke.
Pew. Thank you to Janae Bennett.
Ooh, thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ow. Thank you to Dan Zeklos.
Ooh, thank you to Emily Ozera.
Boo, boo, boo. And last but certainly not least, thank you to Jaylene Ivashkov.
Ooh. Oh. I have a fanfiction for you. It is written by Shania_Miraculous, and it is titled When You're Sure Love is Unrequited. The summary is, ever since Damon fell in love with Elena, he knew that she would never love someone like him, and he deserved that. So to relieve his hurt, he indulges his desires with other women. And this is only one chapter. Love brings pain. Love brings joy. Love brings sadness. For a 145-year-old vampire, it had brought sudden hurt. Yet Damon couldn't bring it in himself to regret it. Meeting Elena Gilbert and falling in love with her was the best thing that ever happened to him, even though he lost her to Stefan. There were a lot of downsides, of course. Seeing her so in love with Stefan brought him pain he hadn't felt in decades. But he would not be selfish. He would endure the pain for the rest of his life if he had to, just for her. So to have somewhat of a control over himself and have relief over his emotions, he let himself indulge in angry, desperate desires with other women. Rose, he had really cared for her. Rebecca, it had all been vicious anger, desires begging for a release, the tension in the atmosphere. Sage, it was all taking advantage of each other. But only she could bring him all the satisfaction that he needed, but he held back for her. He had to. End scene.
Woof.
But it's all just like a joke, and he's super chill.
Yeah. It's
Damon
fine. Everything's fine. He's so in control.
Yeah, he has everything under control. You don't need to worry about Damon. It's just all vibes for him. I think he even said this episode that he said, own it, live it, love it. That's all Damon. Well, friends, there has never been a better time to tell your friends about the show.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would, but you can watch Ink Masters. That is a choice that is available to you, because you do.
Don't go down the dark path that I have. Save yourselves. This is my cross to bear.
Yes, because apparently it is still new and on the air. You can also watch Chaos. But as we say here in the Pacific Northwest,
get bit.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/intothetwilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.